On our current project, we've been working on book cover design, and the question has come up about bleeds off the edge of the pages. And so I just wanted to run over that with you real quick. What I have open here right now is an InDesign file, which you are using for the second part, or actually it's the next project where you're going to expand upon your book cover design, and you're going to look at back cover and spine and so forth. But I have a graphic placed on the page right now. This one is created in, well, I forget which, Illustrator, I believe. But I have a graphic sitting on the page here. And I wanted to show it to you here in InDesign first. We are working with a page size of 6 by 9 inches. And so I created my artwork and placed it here. So you can see I can click and I can drag it around. Okay. So I've placed it there. And I placed it and I drug it up into the corner so that my upper left hand corner fit right there. So this is the idea of what you would have if you have a full color image. It's going edge to edge and you want it to go to the edges of the book cover or whatever the page is that you're printing. So I want the ink to go up to the edges. The problem with this is that it's never exactly precise, especially things off of a printing press. Printing presses move as they print. So things shift around just a little bit, they get jostled, and so it's not always exact. So we can't print edge to edge on printers. And so if we want color to go edge to edge, we actually have to drag it off of the edges and trim it off. And the example you can actually see here, because I think I did a pretty good job of aligning it in the upper left hand corner here. Okay, so if I zoom up here, I can drag that right there. Okay, so it looks like I'm right on the edge. But then when I slide over here to the right hand side, you see I've got a bit of a gap right here. And that's what would happen if you didn't build it exactly the right size, but it's also what would happen if it shifted a little bit in the printing process or in the trimming process. You would end up with gaps like this. So we definitely don't want that. So to take care of that, what we do is we bleed the artwork off of the edges. And so you'll notice on my file, you see I have these little light lines out here, these light blue lines. That's my bleed area. So an 1/8 inch on all sides is pretty standard. So I would want my artwork to hang off of all the edges, and then I would trim that off. So obviously you don't want anything important out there. In this case, I have a photographic background. I would just extend that image out. Now this one has been created in another program, so I'm going to have to jump over to that program in a minute. However, if I was building artwork, say right here in InDesign, which I would definitely do at times, I would, let's say I want a box with a color background. I don't want to come here at the edge and come to the other edge. Oops, no fill. Let's fix that. So there, lovely yellow. I don't want it to go like that because that's where I have the potential problem. So I could grab my selection tool and I would just drag it out here to my bleed marks. And then that part of it could be trimmed off. Okay, so that's how it is in InDesign. Let's switch programs though real quick. Let's see, was this one? Yep, this one was in Illustrator. So this is from the Illustrator book cover template that I gave you. So I built a file at 6 by 9 inches and I put bleed space on it. And so here I have an image. Let me drag that out of the way. You can see my white page area there. And at the moment I have the photo going edge to edge there. And so this looks like the design of my book cover. It's a simple one. Because it goes edge to edge, it seems fine, but I need to add bleed. So in this case, what I would do is I would grab this image. I'm going to drag it up and to the left so it hangs into that bleed area. And then I need to come down here and resize it so that it bleeds off all 4 edges. This one's a little hard to see because the image is dark, but if I zoom in, you can see that line right there. That's the bleed. So all of this is going to get trimmed off. You have to keep that in mind. Okay, you don't want anything important there. We always want to make sure that our artwork is far enough from the edges that there's not the possibility of it getting close to the bleed. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do a save and wait. And I'll flip back over to InDesign. Now this one, this has been updated, so I can go up here to links right there. I'm going to do a right click on that, and I want to update my link just like that. Oh, and you see how it pushed out into the bleed area. So as I did that, I don't know if you were watching very closely, but nothing resized, or the type did not move or resize on the page. The edges just went out. So this now has a bleed on it. Or I can do a command semicolon, and I can see my marks. So now you can see my bleed area out there. So my page size is built at 6x9 plus an 1/8 inch bleed all the way around. So that's how that works here in InDesign. I might as well save that file. Oops, hasn't been saved. I'll come back to it. Okay, the one other one I want to show you is in Photoshop. Here's my other book cover. And this is, again, the template that I supplied you if you were working in Photoshop. The difference here, though, if I grab my image, let's see, there's my photo. If I move it, I have various items here. Let's grab a bunch of stuff, move it out of the way. So you can just see my page area right there, okay? So there's the working area I have. I'm going to turn guides on, which was command semicolon, because I put guides in place. And this actually shows you the bleed area on it. So Photoshop works a little bit different. Instead of having a 6x9 inch file with an 1/8 inch bleed there, you actually build the file and add the bleed to it. So if it's an 1/8 on each side, that means a 1/4 inch in height and a 1/4 inch in width. And so if you zoom in, here, I'll probably do it down here the easiest. It doesn't want to slide. Let's see, let's do that. You can see right here, there is 6, and this is 6 1/4 on my width. And my height, there we go, it's hard to see, but it's 9 1/4 on the height. Okay? So I just have already built it actually with the bleed here. Now I do need to watch, see how this type is kind of close. That's my trim mark right there. So I might want to pull that off of my trim mark a little bit there. Don't want to risk it getting trimmed off. Okay, so this kind of gets built, the file size is built with the bleed there. If it helps, you can come up here to the upper left hand corner, and you'll notice that my 0 point is out here. Okay, it's out here at the bleed. So you can go in the upper left hand corner and click and drag, and it goes right there, and you can move it to the trim point if that helps you. Okay, so that might be more useful to you. Okay, so now I can just save this one, and I could either supply it this way to my printer, or I probably would take this over to InDesign and keep building out more. Okay, so hopefully that makes it clearer on how bleed works, what the purpose of bleed is, and how I have to build it into my files.